Angry Jamal. Angry Jamal. Angry Jamal.
Burn live, burn live, burn live. Welcome, 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 everybody to the Burn Live Show. I am your host, Capiche. This is where we burn through conversation, trying to ash out some common sense. Just going through topics of everyday culture and life and things that we see and having a good conversation and digesting some things and hoping that we learn from each other and moving on. I am with my Vibes community family off the top of the tick. I tell you, it goes down from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 Eastern. Come check us out over there on TikTok early in the morning. Then come over here and check us out over here, where also we get deeper into things that are going on, culture, movies, TV shows, videos to explain what we're talking about so we can digest today's culture. Welcome, everybody. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
What's up? What's up? How everybody doing?
Great. I feel very happy.
That's good. Eh, Anybody else in here? We I only hear one voice. What's going on?
What it do? What it do?
How you doing? How you doing, sir?
Good, man.
That's what I feel about. Airing out. Hi, Miss April. Oh yeah, April, y'all, the first person to ever find Ninja Turtles in St. Louis. Y'all know the speech. Y'all know the speech. How you doing?
Yeah. How y'all doing?
And we have another person.
First class to heaven, Johnny.
Hey, what's
Boom.
going on?
Hey,
Hi.
see, I told you, but I'm working good on these intros, y'all. Man, first class. Some of y'all got better intros than others. I got to work on. I'm getting better. Getting better.
Hey, man.
How you been, sir?
I've been good. Just I got a fiance now, so just been building with her and just getting closer to the truth of God more and more.
Okay,
And
that's that. Amen.
amen,
You know what I'm saying? As long as we multiply, you know what I'm saying? We don't divide.
amen.
Yeah, see. So,
Congratulations to you.
so,
Appreciate it.
a secret little story just popped up on my screen real quick. I ain't gonna bring it up because it ain't that big yet. It's still a rumor. But secret rumors is I have been talking off screen to a couple of my friends, let them know about a Marvel movie that's coming up and the excitement behind that. And I just got word that Wesley Snipes as Blade may be returning in the movie Doomsday. So that's something to look out for. I actually hope he does return.
In a
You
in
know,
a in a major role, or just we just gonna look at him for like 5 seconds.
and there's no telling. I mean, the fact that the rumors out that he's in it, you know what I'm saying, and you're a comic book player, you're going to at least, from what I'm hearing, most people are going to get at least like 5 minutes screen time. And then I heard this might be a 3 hour, 20-minute movie too. This is what
Wow.
this is what I'm hearing. Um, Stephen A. Smith is in the news of firing back at Congress lady Jasmine and a couple of other people who have thrown shots at him. He's making headways of calling out political things of how he sees the balls and strikes. You know what I'm saying? Not criticizing people of their character and who they are, just of how they doing other policy. You know what I'm saying? That was an amazing story I seen this morning. In other news, Super Mario Brothers has another movie trailer. Am I really looking at this? Yeah. Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, the movie trailer has dropped. I don't know if anybody are Mario fans or you've been playing the Nintendo. Wah, wah, wah. No Nintendo players? Okay. Everybody too, it sound like y'all too busy getting jobs out here. Like if we ain't had time to play games, we was getting jobs, paying bills at 9 years old. So, as I try to bring up that story, and that was very not amazing to nobody, you know what I'm saying? Can't win them all. I ran across this story yesterday, and I was discussing it with April, and we was breaking it down. AP, if you're still around. AP, she's still around? AP, you still around? AP is around. We was going over, we was breaking it down. I think it was very interesting of hearing. I was also going over this other video with these fellas debating about who can get into heaven and stuff about Israelites and stuff like that. So I am going to give y'all a choice to start us off. I got three kind of awkward little topics to jump on. We can just break down. Yet again, we can break down the debate about Israelites and these guys debating about who goes to heaven, who's the truth, and who's the real prophecies. Or we can go back to the guy in the barbershop talking, or I can go quickly look up the lady sitting there having a debate about Democrats and liberals. So I'm gonna give the panel the chance to choose which one sounds a little bit more interesting to break down real quick and to go over and to discuss. Me, all three of them are interesting to me, just to be honest.
Yeah, all three of them are pretty interesting too. We can hit any subject. To be honest, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down for anything too.
Your choice.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So last time I went guys in the barbershop first, and then I went to the guys debating. I think I'm gonna go actually to the debate about the Israelites, and then I'm gonna go to the guys in the barber shop. And without further ado, y'all, this was interesting. And what I want us to kind of do real quick for this is if we do hear something that is questionable or, saying somebody's not explaining something that anything that we got a question, please, let me know, stop so we can stop and discuss. I highly appreciate discussing anything because there are some things, especially in this video right here, that I was questioning, like I was interested in things I didn't know. It's very interesting. This is about Israelites. This is about the Bible. They do quote a lot of Bible quotes. I do appreciate this. I know my mama popped through what she does. She appreciate us going over this. Until then, let's get into it.
Born. You know what they said? They referenced Isaiah 7:14 and said Christ is born from a virgin. I'm paraphrasing the scripture. So the same way a prophecy was written about Christ that is fulfilled later, that the prophet Matthew or the apostle Matthew deciphered and broke down, is the same way Deuteronomy 28:68 was written, that prophets came later and broke down. So when you say that it's an ad hoc, you would have to say that Christ also was an ad hoc. That's what you would have to say.
No, you wouldn't. That would also be another rationalization. So here, let's break this down. First and foremost, you're evading all answers to this, and you've been evading it the entire time. So I'm just going to ask again. I'll keep on asking until you can just say. Yeah. Okay. Great. Oh, great. Okay. I haven't answered your question, but anyway, one more time, I'm going to ask you, sir. If you are a prophet and you have indeed cast prophecy and they have been fulfilled as you have claimed, can you show us or demonstrate any shred of proof for this?
The moment you answer my question, that's when I'll demonstrate my proof.
Okay,
actually, time out, Andrew, real quick.
I asked first. Yeah.
He asked first. And you try to avoid the entire question. We need some proof. This is crazy. Both of y'all saying that y'all prophets? Cooley. We need some proof.
First question to the panel before we go any deeper. If y'all did run across anybody that said there was a prophet and somebody asked them to prove that there's a prophet, is there a way that somebody can prove that they're a prophet to you?
That they are themselves a prophet?
Yeah, that if they claim that they are a prophet, you know what I'm saying? Is there any way that they can prove that they are a prophet to you personally?
A random person on the street.
Yeah, you was randomly, or you knew somebody, y'all was having a debate, and they were like, yeah, I'm a prophet of Israel, you know what I'm saying? Is there any way that they can prove that to you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Johnny?
I mean, the only way they can prove it to you is if they can tell you a vision that they see, and if that vision comes to pass, is the only way that can be proven. But off bat, no, you can't tell a prophet unless that vision transpires. To be like, oh
Johnny?
yeah, that person told me that. That person said that this was going to happen in my life. This person said that this moment was going to happen. Like he was a prophet.
Okay.
You ain't gonna know until later on.
Okay.
Okay. The only way to tell a prophet, and this day and age, especially one that's coming out of the church, is to see what they're prophesying about and seeing not only if it aligns up with scripture and how the other prophets spoke, but also just like what she said, to take a little piece off what she said, is just to see if it comes to pass. Like to blatantly try to like ask someone to prove they're a prophet off rip is kind of like crazy, because that's like what the Pharisees and Sadducees did to Jesus when they said to prove himself to him. So like that's pretty crazy. But you got to listen to what they're saying. You got to hear them out.
Yeah,
and then after you do that, you can tell if they are prophets or not.
But see, that's what I just wanted to ask that question, because when I first watched this, that's kind of like the first question that popped in my head. If I wasn't up here listening to them guys and somebody came to that, what can this person do to prove it to me personally without me, you know what I'm saying, having any knowledge or knowing anything about the Bible? You know what I'm saying? I was just thinking outside the box. But okay. And that is my guy argument in this situation. Like, okay, if you claim who you are, you should be able to prove it rationally, meaning understandably, break it down, and it should make common sense. So, okay.
No, Cooley, here's the problem. He made a declaration of a prophetic standard and what it was. I'm asking him to validate his standardization that would make me dignify it with an answer. I reject what he's alleging is a prophetic standard. I don't think there's biblical precedence for his prophetic standard. So I'm asking him to now demonstrate where it says in order for you to interpret
the problem
prophecy,
is,
hold on. In order for you to interpret prophecy, you must have to demonstrate that you have prophesied.
Okay,
so Andrew, real quick.
You know what? I'll just grant it. Okay. Let's assume for a moment that I'm completely incorrect, just for the sake of argument. I have no idea. Like, what am I even talking about? You claimed, sir, that you have done all of these things. So even if I'm wrong, and I'll just grant that I am for the sake of argument, can you now demonstrate that you have done any of those things, please?
How would you like me to demonstrate it?
By showing us evidence and proofs.
Okay, so how can I show you an evidence of proof?
That you have cast prophecy, you've written it down, it's come true, yeah.
How would I?
If I'm not mistaken, if I didn't hear that correctly, he said I can show proof. I just wanted him to show in scripture, where does it show that I need to show proof? So he said, okay, let's say I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's say it's not in the scripture. How about you just say, because this is what you say you are, you prove it. And now he's trying to say, how you want me to prove it? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure we are okay. All right. This is interesting.
I show you the evidence of that.
Show us the writings of it and the dates of it, and then say this is what happened. Things like this, the same way we verify things.
So if I go, okay, I wrote that there would be this happen, and I just showed you right here, and then I said this was written on the date of January 3rd, and then it happened January 4th. That's what I would need to do right now.
That would at least be some evidence.
That would be adequate.
That would at least be some evidence.
There are humans.
Would that be evidence, everybody?
No.
That's not evidence. So if he wrote down something a long time ago that said it's happening in the future and then it happens?
No.
So when people say that, oh, the Simpsons predict the future, Simpsons knew that Trump was coming down, that's a bunch of baloney, because they always say that the Simpsons are prophesizing the future. So that's a load of crap, right?
Amen.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I was just trying to make sense. Somebody make sense of that. I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep the party going.
Human beings in the chat that could attest to my prophecies. Right.
So
I don't need to just take a piece of paper that I could have wrote at any time and try to postulate it as occurring. None of that is about the
Gorilla. I think you're mistaking prophecy with intuition. All human beings have intuition.
I'm not mistaking anything. What I'm doing is
So you're really saying that you're a prophet. I try to actually give you a bone here. I tried to give you a bone. So you real Gorilla, real quick. Gorilla, I've been chilling. I haven't been speaking. Gorilla, relax. I'm gonna have to mute you, bro. I wasn't speaking at all. I've been letting all of y'all speak. So I tried to give you a bone here. Are you not mistaking prophecy for intuition? Because everyone has intuition. You can be intuitive. That's cool. But if you're not saying that you're intuitive and you're actually saying that you are a prophet, this is crazy. We would need some proof.
Greg, we need to talk.
No time, got sales calls to summarize.
You really need to switch to Monday CRM. It has built.
Oh, okay, listen, but here's the problem. He brought having to be a prophet into being able to interpret the Bible, right? That's the difference here. Whether I'm a prophet or not is not the conversation. He's trying to now deviate the conversation into that. He keeps talking about
time out. That is the conversation. That is the conversation, brother. Because you said that only the Hebrew Israelites can be prophets. This all stream from your argument.
So it's real cute what you guys are doing right now. So let me explain what's happening. Hold on, Andrew. I'm talking, Andrew. Right?
Go ahead,
we have somebody who's trying to postulate logic. That's allegedly the place he's coming from.
That's what I've been doing the entire time.
Cooley, I'm not talking about you. It's not you're not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Andrew, who is allegedly coming from a place of logic, who the first thing he said was, there's no prophet after Christ. That was immediately and instantly debunked by Captain Azariah. He hasn't had to own up to that, right? Then he totally created a prophetic standard, tried to enforce it on people. When he was questioned, he could do nothing but concede, but alleges that he's coming from a place of logic. Since we've been on the camera, he's chain smoked when lung cancer is the leading cancer and killer of white Americans, period, right?
From smoking?
So he demonstrated him being wrong, him making things up, and him being illogical.
Okay.
Period. Now we're getting distracted.
Gorilla, chill out real quick, man.
We're getting distracted.
No, we're not getting distracted. Let me tell you, you just committed another logical fallacy.
Cooley, why did he ask if somebody was a prophet? Tell me.
Because I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you why. You know why? It's because the conversation that y'all can't answer the question. Remember, you said that God is a racist. You said that there's a hierarchy in heaven and only the Hebrew Israelites is going to be at the top of the hierarchy. It's only based off of their ethnicity. Then Andrew Wilson asked you a question. He said, well, how do you verify this? Is it through biology, or is it through, like, how do you find this out? You guys couldn't give an answer. You said through prophecy. He asked you, who's a prophet? I've been listening clearly here. He says, who's a prophet?
If we gave an answer, how did we not give an answer?
No, you say that you're a prophet, and then he's trying to ask you to verify. Stop, Gorilla, stop. You wanted me to explain. He's asking to
you
verify.
Just lied in front of everybody. You just lied. Yes, you did. Bro. You just told me that we couldn't give an answer and then told us what our answer was. That's a lie. How can we not give an answer, but we gave the answer?
Stop it. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying now.
I'm not misinterpreting
That's what
nothing.
You're doing.
You just said we didn't.
See, this is one thing I want to point out when it comes to debates, when, because I seem like I go through this too on my show, when you want to simplify a base in a debate just to get an understanding, a baseline. A main question was asked, and we're trying to get a simple answer. Only people that can get into heaven or can understand the Bible is prophets. So they say, where did you get your proof? Through biology? How do you find out? He said through prophets. And he said, y'all are a prophet. Can you prove that you're a prophet? And a person don't want to prove that they're prophet, so they're getting offended. And they get into all this irrational. It's like the other day when I was up here and I was talking about the different countries where the base of the conversation was about how America is doing wrong that we think is right. And we were talking about American things that was happening, then it went further on and out the picture. And that's what seems to be happening here, is the focus was on one thing of being a prophet, and how are you being a prophet, and can you prove? That's why I asked y'all in the beginning. And yet again, my boy in the red hat, Gorilla, is getting irrational because he's been tested. And I was just like, man, I go on Talk of the Tick all the time and sit up there on panels and debate people and ask simple questions, or they'll ask me a simple question and I will give out the answer. And when you give out the answer, people don't like how you answered it, and they will tell you how you feel. Oh, you feel like you ain't doing it right. How do you know how a person feels? It's like, do you know I got a fever? What's the temperature of my forehead? Do you know? And you threw a screen. That amazes me. And this right here is amazing to me, just the simple fact that we just trying to get a simple answer. And they've been debating, unfortunately, for 28 minutes and they still ain't got a base of an answer. Funny and hilarious to me. But, might not be other people will look at this as a headache, you're not getting nowhere, ain't nobody learning from this and stuff like that. But then you learn how to avoid ignorance when people don't know how to debate.
Gorilla,
very upset.
Gorilla, listen real quick, bro. Real quick, Gorilla. And Andrew, I'll let you land your plane.
No, that's because you're lying, bro.
No one's lying.
Honest.
No one's lying, man.
You're a prophet is what the lie is, sir.
You believe in a race.
We did something. That's a lie.
Stop it, Gorilla. Stop it. You believe in
if you were a prophet,
God.
You should have known that and predicted it beforehand and written it down, and then he could demonstrate the proof of it.
True. Hold
on. Yes, because prophets are clairvoyants. No, there's not. A prophet is not a psychic. Being able to foresee an event from occurring does not give you the ability to see everything before it happens. They can't be for
real.
How
do you know?
Because I know enough.
Because you know. Because you know.
I know enough
because you know.
Not to chain smoke, Andrew.
You're so mad. You don't know enough not to eat a bunch of fucking cheeseburgers, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro.
I can't wait till you get canceled, man. I heard this aggressive.
Nah, he's not getting canceled, man.
I said cancer, not canceled. I don't want him canceled.
Oh, you said, man, why would you wish that on someone? That's crazy, man. Why would you actually wish cancer on someone, not cancel?
Hold on.
I would actually, if we're speaking about morality here, this is the thing, bro. Gorilla,
did I wish anything on anybody?
Time out, stop.
I didn't wish anything on anybody.
Time out, stop.
I didn't say I hope you get cancer. Did I?
Time out, stop, Gorilla. Stop.
Did I say I hope you got cancer?
Stop, Gorilla.
Did I say that?
When you and all of these Hebrew Israelites
lying again. There you are lying.
Oh, your voice is as loud as your cholesterol. Calm down, bro. Calm down.
Bro, listen, I just muted you real quick. I'm gonna unmute you, but listen, man, this entire debate was all structured around morality, right? You guys all admitted that racism is immoral, but then you also say that God is a racist God. So well, you wasn't here yet, first Cap, but I'm speaking about Gorilla and then 6'5". The other Hebrew Israelite was up here first. You're saying that that's a lie? We can just rewind the tape back. We have the proof. You said that you believe in a racist God. But you also say that racism is immoral. So that means that God is immoral? This entire conversation is about meta-ethics, morality. But guess what? Your meta-ethics is incompatible with your informative ethics. So this hierarchy that you supposedly, that there is in heaven, that only Hebrew Israelites is going to be on top is only based by race. This would deem that God is racist. And guess what? You've all said that, well, only Hebrew Israelites can be prophets. Andrew Wilson is asking a specific question to verify how you are a prophet. You haven't given us any answers. You're reading some scriptures. You're going off point. We need proof.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. We need proof. You need a concept and a way to record it. First.
Okay, so I just want to give a brief recap because what you're saying is
you just lied
I don't know.
Again.
I don't know.
I never said racism was immoral. I never said that. That's a lie. Again, thank you.
Right, and I don't know. I don't know if you wasn't listening.
Okay.
I don't know if you wasn't listening to the answer. But when he first, so you gave a good recap. I'm gonna get the correct recap. So when he came on here saying to prove that we're prophets, the first thing I did was read Christ's answer when he was asked to prove. And he immediately said, a perverse and adulterous generation seeketh for a sign, which is what he's looking for. So if Christ is our king and who we look after, just like he didn't feel the need to prove himself to those people.
Except through a resurrection.
Anybody when they spoke. I didn't interrupt anybody when they spoke.
No proof except the whole resurrection.
I didn't interrupt anybody when they spoke.
Oh, man.
When they asked him to prove himself, the same way he's asking to prove himself. He called them a perverse and adulterous generation that seeketh for a sign. I didn't call him that. I just said the same way my King Christ didn't feel a need to prove himself to them, I don't have to prove myself but by teaching. And then I read the verse. I said, Christ said he was proving by teaching them repentance. So when you say that we didn't answer the question, we absolutely answered the question. Then Gorilla asked him to prove the criteria that he has the right to ask us that question. He yielded and said, I don't know where that's at in the Bible. Now, once he says, I don't know where that's at in the Bible, We don't
never
have
He
to
didn't say
answer
that. That's a lie.
Never happened.
He just said, what if I say it's not in the Bible? What
No,
you did not say?
No, I
that?
was
just granted.
granting.
He
I'm
was just
granting
granting
it for the sake of argument.
Whether
He's
you wanna
granting
say
it so you
To
can
show where
prove
the
it.
logic
hold on.
goes.
Wait. Because I didn't interrupt nobody when they spoke. But if you want to use the word granting instead of yielding, he still did not show the biblical. We talk about the Bible. So whatever we talk about has to come from the Bible. So if it's somewhere in the Bible where someone can ask, hey, prove your prophet, then he would have a legit question. But if I read in the Bible when Christ was asked to prove he was a prophet and he answered him by calling him perverse and adulterous, you can't tell me that I have to prove to him. So now,
so I'll give you the proofs.
I just want to finish.
Okay.
And then you can give the proofs.
All right, cool. Land your plane, man.
Then he brought up the term ad hoc. Well, he brought up the wrong word, but I read both definitions for him. And he said, we can't take a verse from the past and use it as a prophecy for the future. That's what he said.
No.
And then I used Isaiah 7:14. Isaiah 7:14 said, behold, a virgin shall conceive. And when Christ was born, they used a verse from the past to reveal it as a prophecy of the future. And then I highlighted how Guerrilla Hebrew used Deuteronomy 28:68, a verse from the past, as a prophecy of the future. Unless you're going to tell me the prophets that use Deuteronomy 28:68 as a fulfilled point, then we've actually answered your question. Okay. Because that's been the answer. So you can't.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, by him reading verses from the Bible, that is solidifying him as a prophet of predicting the future, because he's reading a prophet that somebody else prophesied in the Bible. So if I'm not mistaken, that is how I'm hearing my guy break that down, because they broke everything down from the Bible. But yet again, you're breaking down somebody else's prophecy that they prophesied as solidifying it as your own prophecy to declare that you're a prophet.
You mind if I give a little context behind it?
Okay, this guy right here asked them to prove, these two at the bottom, to prove that they're a prophet. Remember what he said? He said, I don't have to prove that I'm a prophet if the guys in the Bible asked Jesus to prove it, he was a prophet, and he told them I didn't have to prove it. So therefore, he didn't have to prove it. Also, he said that this guy over here, Gorilla, went to a scripture in the Bible that prophesies about the future that a prophet in the Bible said. So when he went to the prophet in the Bible and spoke it, that solidified him, Gorilla, as being a prophet. Because you went to a prophet that somebody else prophesied in the Bible.
You mind if I say something?
Go ahead.
So when it pertains to like prophets in the Bible, they all, in a sense, prophesied the same thing. Rather it be his coming, Jesus coming, or telling the Israelites at the time their sin and the transgression and how they need to turn away. And so what he's trying to say is he's following in their footsteps of doing the same thing. But the problem is they're not trying to catch him where he is misinterpreting the scripture. They're just trying to call him out as being a false prophet, but not by the method that he's calling himself to be a prophet by.
Okay. So is it possible that a person can claim that they're a prophet, read a prophet from the Bible to solidify that they are a prophet?
Only if it lines up with scripture. And God will give that interpretation.
Okay.
God will give that individual that divine interpretation.
Okay. I think I'm gonna pause it right there on that one. I'm not gonna lie to nobody. When it comes to stuff like that, there's more of a learning and trying to, like the show is just. I want to hear things make logical, common sense. I understand things are maybe a little hard to understand and grasp for what has happened, but when I think a question is simplified to be answered, a simplified question, you should get a simple answer. Now, can you go into detail? Can you go into complex, into your reasoning of the answer? Yes, I get it. But an easy question, which I felt like that was, I think, kind of deserves a somewhat of an easy answer. I could be wrong. Don't listen to me. I don't know. All right, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to the second part of the barbershop with my boy Crowder, a person I've been watching for a while. Went to a barbershop with people to sit down. And first time he did this, y'all, he sat down and he listened to everybody talk. And this time he actually going back and having a conversation about things that going on. And this barbershop has a lot to say back. And yes, I want to break down and go over it and see where it was at. April enjoyed this good. I hope everybody else enjoyed. People that are watching, hope that y'all enjoy it. This is part 2. This is the second half of part 2. I don't know how far we're going to get into it. But yet again, let's go. Oh, yes, and I got to have words up here. For this one, the words need to be up here.
Doing the railroad, like you said. But when white work get hard, white people ran from that kind of work. So you can't tell me in 2025 you're going to go find one of them new generation upset white boys that's going to get out there and climb that tree and get your apples out of it.
It's a statistical reality. I'm telling you. And hey, what do you think happens when people coming from the third world aren't working here illegally as modern-day indentured servants, slaves? What do you think happens when they're not there? Wages go up. Why would you pay more when you can have someone who's off the books, you can threaten with deportation, pay him dog shit? By the way, that hurts your wages too.
I'm saying if you're going to have those people, you got to pay them more because that is somewhat a form of slavery. That's some hard work out there. But the companies that employ, the Tropicanas, the Del Montes, the Libby's, all those companies that get the people, somebody got to get them green beans. All those companies are profiting from that cheap labor. Somebody got to pay. So if they're profiting from that,
I agree.
Those are the companies that need to be punished.
They should be punished, and the government that incentivizes it should be punished.
Whoever
the government is incentivizing it because they're stealing food from your kids' mouth.
The borders
we can agree on that. Hopefully,
but if you gonna let them in here and somebody gonna profit off of it, make them folks have to spit that bread out. Because if you punishing somebody, if you making that kind of profit off that illegal labor, you got to make it so punitive that I don't need to get that illegal labor because it's killing my profit.
But if we apply it, and I agree with you, punish them, right? I agree with you 100%. Wouldn't we also apply it to sanctuary cities that have harbored illegal aliens and prevented the deportation?
And by the way, Barack Obama deported. Sanctuary city, that's the city where you can come if you're an illegal alien.
And they will protect you from deportation.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Exactly. That's why
I was born here, so I don't give a damn about nobody that's illegally over here. If you ain't supposed to be over here, you got to deal with it.
I agree.
You got to deal with it.
I agree, and anyone who's sponsored it should be punished.
My kids was born here. My mom and my daddy was born here. My grandparents was born here. And so we here. So if you're not supposed to be here and you don't go through the legal channel, you got to deal with the consequences of that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not here for harboring nobody.
I am for legally having a path to citizenship.
Sure. Now, legal, right. That's different. Legal immigration is different.
Yeah. I agree.
Legal immigration is different.
And by the way, it shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be easy.
You should have to pass some tests.
It is.
You should have to pass some tests to prove that you're going to be here. You're going to contribute.
Once again, I agree. Once again, if I just went to Montreal. If I wanted to move to Montreal, I'd have to do some shit.
Oh yeah.
It'd take like 3 years for me to officially become a citizen, and there's a lot of stuff that I had to do in them 3 years.
Yeah.
To prove to them that I'm worthy of citizenship.
Well, it's even worse when people hear. This is why I say people don't realize that America is actually they provide more opportunities than any other country. You don't get assurance maladie in Quebec unless you've been employed and paying taxes. I think unless they changed it, I haven't been there since 2004, 3 years. So in other words, you do not receive anything comparable to EBT, SNAP, any of that, unless you're a tax-paying citizen with a record. They don't let people come there, white or black,
Also, they are way more racist than America. People don't realize that. French Canadians, yeah.
Gotcha.
They're super.
Hey, I keep trying to tell people when they talk about going to Canada, I just go to Canada. I was like, boy, Canada do not like us. Canada insurance is horrible. And this was a statistic that I seen on another show. I'm not sure, but they say more Canadians leave the country for medical services than stay in the country and actually deal with their free insurance. So that, I mean, if that's happening up there, that's wild. That's crazy. And, you know, a lot of people are doing that here when it comes to their insurance because the insurance is so high or they can't get the proper services that you need here that people would rather go out the country. I know somebody that recently just went out the country not long ago just to, you know what I'm saying, just to have a small surgery done, you know what I'm saying, just to get a teeth cleaning. Like, brother, I'm going to go to this country. They're known for teeth cleaning. They're a good country. You know, I'm going to go over there and check them out. I used to hear back in the day that, like, when people want to put golds in their mouth, they go get Russian golds because Russia has some of the cleanest golds to actually put in your mouth for people that want golds in your mouth and stuff like that. There's a certain country that probably do heart surgery better than us and stuff like that. So it kind of makes you think when it comes down to insurance and your health, what is a better way to look at the health plan and to make it benefit us? Because right now we paying for insurance even if we don't use it now. Some of us ain't been to the doctor in years. And you're paying into a system that you ain't even stepped in a hospital. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I stepped in like an actual hospital. You know what I'm saying? And you paying into something like that. So is there even a way, an idea to reconstruct the insurance to where, you know what I'm saying, it is a more affordable? Because we hear the arguments that it's not affordable, premiums are going high. This shutout right here was just so we can subsidize the insurance, meaning put more money into it because it's not enough money to go in for everybody. So the premiums don't go up, so people not paying high insurance. A lot of people saying that the insurance company is one of the biggest scams. And if we remember earlier this year, an insurance CEO got taken out in the middle of the streets because, you know, somebody felt some type of way with the insurance. So this insurance thing is a big issue, and I think I'm starting to see that it's a little bit more important than what I was looking at it at first when I first was kind of coming across my news feed and how people are looking at insurance.
Racist. And the reason, like, my experience has been that Americans are the least racist people of all the countries. That includes Europe, that includes Canada. People think Canada's awesome, but French Canadians hate the Haitians because it's a French colony. They hate the Vietnamese. They're just awful.
That's what I was about to say. It's different pockets that they hate. They don't hate us, Americans.
Yeah, they don't like Americans.
I didn't experience that.
Yeah, they talk behind your back.
I experienced it. Well, that may
and it's bullshit too. They're jealous. They're jealous.
But they're gonna do that here too.
Yeah. So, no, I know. Yeah, no. Canada's a silly place where, again, it's bigger than the United States with 1/10 of the population, and it doesn't have the same kind of diversity that we have here. I mean, when people point to Norway or these countries that have giant social safety nets, it's like take the population of Rhode Island. Hey, and I'm sure you could probably make it work better too if it was 100% Black or 100% Nordic. When you have a cultural common ground, it's easier, right? We have a lot more pockets in this country than in places like Canada. It's a beautiful city to visit, though. I highly recommend it. To live there is awful. You want to pay 52% income tax and 14%. What was sales tax when you went? 14%?
Yeah, sales tax.
You know what's crazy about
Something
it?
like
You're taxed on tax. So you have a bill, they tax 7%, total it, and then tax another 7%.
I was about to say, they came and got some more money after we got back.
Yeah, that's socialism in Quebec. And I mean, I've buried relatives from their socialized healthcare.
Which is why we need to fight harder to preserve this country first. Because see, we keep going back because of our ethnic differences and our beliefs and what have you. We can never move forward. And right now, we are in the fight of our life as Americans. Because let me tell you something right now. There's a huge push to supplant that damn dollar. And if you think that dollar doesn't mean nothing, You watch what happens when it loses that reserve currency status. You'll see what it's like to have a goddamn currency that's worth nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to we really got to reevaluate. Listen, we're not going to ever agree on every goddamn thing, but the one thing we got to agree on is that we are Americans, and to the rest of the world, whether you black, white, Republican, Democrat, independent, or what have you, you know what? They still see you as American. All right. So since we're one and the same, let's figure out what we need to do to address the real goddamn problems. You know. Now, as far as it goes for the young white male, I can't speak on his frustration. I simply hope.
Right there is the nail in the coffin of what I am trying to talk and what I be talking about. No matter how we are looked at, we are all Americans. When we go to other countries don't like us or disrespect us. I don't care nothing about that. What I do care about is our currency growing. We getting stronger in education. We getting stronger in military. We're not looked at as a country that can be taken over anytime soon. I do believe I am under the influence that the countries was looking at us like that. Before that orange-haired guy got into office, I do believe countries was looking at us crazy and like, y'all are weak. I'm serious. There's too many evidence that points at that, where we're looking at our military, where you have more people in our military that was getting medical procedures done. I just want to say this professionally instead of being all ignorant, with medical procedures done on their bodies to proceed, you know what I'm saying, that had nothing to do with being in the military. You're getting your chest done, your butt done, your hair done, your eyelashes done, your facelift and stuff like that, all in the military, but that ain't had nothing to do with the military. You know, you're doing it because you're bored. I understand we ain't been in a war in a while, but that's not what the military is there for. And then the military is paid through taxpayers' money, so that means we're paying for that. Little things like that, I think is crazy and should be better spent. Majority
what
of
does that have to do with the strength of our military? Because people that are in the military have procedures done on their body. How does that decrease the strength of our military as a whole?
Because in a sense of people are distracted and not staying focused on being in the military and what the military focus. A lot of people aren't going into these classes and getting these degrees in military like they used to back in the days where it made the military stronger. People are going into military and getting out of shape, and unfortunately, to me, that is a distraction. You're getting your body done. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Get it done. But when you're getting it done and it's funded through our taxpayers' money instead of coming out of your own personal pockets, you know what I'm saying? We sign a check to you. It's your check. You want to get it done? Cool. I get it. I have nothing to say about that. But when you can find a loophole, oh man, they got a grant to where I can go get this done. You know what I'm saying? This surgery is really for probably somebody that lost a limb or something, but I can use that same grant to go get a butt lift or something like that. I don't know why I keep going there, but I just think stuff like that is distracting to the main focus of what these grants are for, or focus on what you really came into the military. You're not really going to get those procedures and jobs. Just like right now, back in our days, they used to have trade in school. They had trades in school. You know what I'm saying? Being a carpenter, cooking, you know, things that built this country. You know what I'm saying? You used to learn it in high school before you got into the real world. They took that out because, you know what I'm saying, they wanted people, I feel like people, to dumb down Americans, to make us lazy. And that's the only reason I mean by the surgery and stuff like that. It's just the fact of making it lazy. We're not focusing on being strong and getting out there and being the best that we can be. Y'all remember those doggone commercials? Join the army and be the best you can be in the Army Reserve. They ain't doing that. Now they like, you know what? We just throw a quick little 5-second commercial during the Army. We have the Army salute. We have Veterans Day, have a football game. We'll do something simple. And other countries look at that. man, they ain't getting strong. They worry about what? They worry about eyelashes. Guys getting things done. That's just, I don't really want to go deep into that, you know what I'm saying? But all that's distraction. And then when you hear about another country, oh, we can come get them. And I don't know if y'all was here, but I had that argument when some people think that other countries is better than us. I was like, are you crazy? But then you have to look at it. Are they crazy? Is our military really strong? Can they really, you know what I'm saying, put it down if it go down? Because John Ping over there, boy, ain't nobody, boy. They ain't doing that over there. Them boys up at 6 a.m, crack of dawn, doing 150 push-ups. Their military is not invested in stuff that's not strengthening the military. And that's where I'm going with that part right there. And then going to deeper, like he said, we're all Americans. You know what I'm saying? We need to worry about making sure that we don't put somebody in office, even if it's the person now, the person later on, messes up our currency. Because, yes, our currency been going down. All the presidents in the past, we can point at all of them. Hey, man, our currency ain't been going up. That ain't, you know, we used to almost be able to go anywhere, and that dollar was worth something. Now we can go a few places, and that dollar worth something. We can go other places, and, you know, we just as sovereign as a true sovereign country. Some people probably looking at us as a sovereign country. Hey, look at them. I'm sorry, I don't want to be looking at us. I don't. We need to get it together. We need to quit all this divide and who, what, when, where. I said this a long time ago, and I got this from a billionaire and what he said, and I think this is the best quote, and I think that we need to, I wish I could get to put on a t-shirt and really push this. People that we put into office, if they cannot increase your county, your country, your district, your state by at least 10%, they shouldn't serve a second term in office, period, point blank, at all. You should go work at McDonald's, Walmart, and be a door greeter. And I'm serious. That's how strict, that's how firm we, the people, the taxpayer money, need to start paying attention to where things are going. I since my son been here, I really been getting a lot of more letters, like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my God, you know, this is why parents can get involved and how they can get involved, because, man, them letters kept coming. We had a PTA meeting, you know what I'm saying? We're involved in the community, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to raise money over here, you know what I'm saying? We got this going over here. Out here in Nevada, teachers are trying to raise money because they feel like they're not getting paid enough. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like that, because y'all get paid on y'all off days. You know what I'm saying? Y'all some vacation. Y'all still getting a whole paycheck. Stop playing. Y'all not getting paid enough. Y'all don't deal with kids for only how many months? How many months y'all deal with kids? 9 months? 8 months? 7 months? 8 months? Okay, 10 at the most? That's almost a whole year. Get that long vacation, school work, paperwork. But then in the same token that the teachers pay their paper, a police officer feel like they should get paid more because they putting their lives on danger. But then a person like, no, forget a pig. Like the arguments, like which one is more important, a police officer or a teacher? I would have to say a teacher. No, I would say a police officer, because yet again, I can take my kids out of school and go get people to tutor him or her, and my kid can learn just as well as being in the school. Now, he might not learn socialism and how to socialize with people. Yeah, might be a little off with that, but that ain't, you know, we can fix that. throw them at, hey boy, go to the mall, chill out at the mall for 2 hours, mingle, friends, whatever. But when it comes to policing and protecting your streets, we have to actually come together and pass the laws to actually provide protection for ourselves. Or you can go hire a private security guard to protect you and your own, and maybe your city. I don't know. But we be hearing about like Miss Dalton. Is that her name? No, Miss Howard in Dalton, Illinois, where she paid her security guards $107,000 damn near a paycheck to do their jobs. Them boys was getting big checks, $1 million. But yet again, who you protecting? One person. You're not protecting the city. You're not making a difference. That's what I'm looking at. That's where I'm at with some of this.
That we don't repeat the damn mistakes of the past, because look where it's gotten us after all these hundreds of years. We got to move forward.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not asking you to speak for them. I'm asking you guys to consider listening.
Sure.
Because they're at a point where I don't know if you know this. A lot of young white dudes have had some pretty fucking tough breaks and no advantages. And they grew up in an era. No. Look, everyone has it. Everyone has it.
Nothing about no poor disenfranchised.
But that's the disconnect, man.
Nobody's trying to hear that, man.
Okay.
Real talk.
Well, real talk. 12 times the murder rate. You don't want to believe it? Fine.
I don't.
And that kid's not going to want to pay reparations.
You know what else on top of that?
Yeah.
I ain't scared. So you can throw them threats out there all you want.
I know you're not scared.
About what the young white man might do.
I know you're not scared because you're 12 times less likely to be the victim of a violent crime from a white person than he is of you. That's a fact.
I'm 12 times more likely to defend myself against some bullshit. So if the young white boy come with that bullshit, I'm gonna meet that bullshit with some bullshit.
A lot of white people going into black neighborhoods.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of white boys going into black neighborhoods around,
and ain't nobody playing. Understand?
What you guys, come on, let's real talk. You've never seen a white person come in solo into a black neighborhood and start a fight. I don't think you've ever seen it.
I don't see black people.
Let's be honest, guys. You're not afraid of young white kids.
But entertain.
Steve, you saw a white man going to
You are correct me.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm also giving you a flip side to that coin that you completely ignoring.
No, because he said I'll stop some bullshit from a white. I tell you, young white guys are afraid when they're surrounded by black guys.
Okay, but don't come around black guys.
I'm afraid when I'm surrounded by a bunch of white men. I'm just not going to allow my fear.
I'm not.
No, I'm not saying you.
Dude, I'm surrounded. This could be an entire tornado of black fists raining on me for saying the wrong thing.
Steven Crowder. I'm talking to boy that you talking about. The young white boy that
I'm not even saying I wouldn't deserve it.
I'm talking to him. If you're that scared of black people, don't come around black
They're not scared. They're tired of it.
Well, don't stay away from us.
Great.
You got your own area.
Then don't ask them to pay for it.
And we're not
because once again.
So you want them to stay away but foot the bill.
So you got to do that with everything
and
else in the tax code.
Now it's the boodle and nothing is it. Stay away from us but pay for us. Do you realize that guy's going to hate you?
That other side of the coin. If we're going to do that, if we're going to give you that, then you got to go through everything and you got to give us the same thing. We're not going to pay for certain shit that we don't agree with.
Can I ask you something real talk? While we're having real talk. Why do young black men fight in packs? Why when we see a World Star video?
I know personal experience. Young Asians fight in packs more than young.
No, I'm talking about every time I tune in.
I used to be a club bouncer, so
I'm talking about video after video of a defenseless person on the ground getting stomped by
social media. That's conditioning. That's something somebody propped up that wants you to see that represents black folks.
So you think it's equal across the board?
That's the problem. No, I think it happens in any community.
Do you think it happens more from young black men than young white men?
No, it gets everybody more than young black men.
Do you think young black men commit violent crime more than young white men? Let's laser in. Do you think
amongst each other? Yeah.
Do you think that you're saying you don't believe the 12 times rate? Do you believe that young black men commit wanton violence against white men more than white men do against black men?
No.
Okay. Then we're never going to find common ground or improve because it's a reality.
Right, because you believe that.
I know that, and I'm listening to the kids who are living that. It would be like me telling you in 1960s to black kids going, you don't know. Let me speak for you. You can't speak for those kids. It's what they're going through. Listen, I want to listen, but you guys need to listen to them too. This is not going to go well.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. But I'm telling you, I'm just asking, while I'm hearing you say that young kid is feeling this way,
of course,
I'm asking you to tell that young kid, consider the people that came before him. Hold on. The reason why we're in some of these situations is because historically, we've had to deal with this shit forever.
That's why he's getting his ass kicked at 7-11.
We didn't ask for none of this either.
That's why
we got here and had to deal with the historical
This question that I'm hearing that they're ignoring And y'all might not say he's ignoring that they're answering, but they're technically ignoring is the fact that what he's asking for racism that's still happening today in today's society when these kids have nothing to do with racism. So they're going to grow up hating a whole cause that really doesn't exist because all I hear is black people complaining about what white people has done to them on the internet. And what he's saying, that is going to create a whole new generation of racist white people that's going to be here that has nothing to do with the past. They're going to be hating blacks for the simple fact of they was told that, hey, we did something that we had nothing to do with. And not the fact that we had something to do with, but you literally want us to pay for it through reparations. And them kids are like, what the hell happened 400 years ago? I read it, I understand it, but that has nothing to do with me today in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. And this argument right there of having people pay for reparations are going to keep going. And new generations of kids are going to be under the microscope of having to pay for something they have no idea what they're paying for. And that's his argument. So what is them kids supposed to do? That's like I asked my son, hey, when you go outside and you're going to school, do you feel threatened when you see a police officer? Do you feel like your life is in danger? Because yet again, that's what we have been told, teaching our people and our communities that, hey, be careful. You always a statistic, use a number, be careful. They're looking, they're watching you. But then when you ask a person, when you go outside, are you scared of the police? Do you look up your shoulder and you scared? They will tell you no. So what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to explain to these newer generations that, hey, you're to blame for something and we want you to pay for it? And that's why I keep playing this video so much, because that's his question that he's trying to get out. And he also throwing statistics to back it up of why is looked at like that in today's society. Yes, slavery happened a long time ago. True indeed. Can't nobody deny that. Can't nobody take that out of the history books. But that time has gone. Our ancestors has fought and passed away for the freedom for us to be able to do what we able to do today, become broke to something. From the sweat and tears off our back. But yet again, what the thing is, how are we still going to keep pointing to people like this man on the screen who has not done nothing racist to nobody black, and still to ask him, hey, and he's from Canada. Hey, we still need to pay reparations because look at the color of your skin. That is amazing to me. But I know we don't want to go deep off into it, but that's what his question is. That's what he's trying to point at and look at society like, okay, this happened, true indeed. And then if y'all want me to go deeper, because in part one, he does break down the different things that law has done to try to right the wrongs that government has did to try to right the wrongs in today's society. And yes, there are a lot of things that has been done that we don't agree upon that did happen. They like, oh yeah, that happened, and that was supposed to be trying to give back to us. But yeah, again, we can definitely sit up here and agree that we didn't appreciate that. And the one main example is the 3-strike rule for Bill Clinton. That was supposed to try to help the black community of getting drug dealers and criminals up off the streets by giving people a short window of opportunity to commit crimes. But yet again, everybody in our community probably can agree, like, we didn't like that. That was wrong. Our people got violently abused and put in jail for petty crime that they really didn't do. A lot of innocent people got locked up, and that would be that argument. Just saying. And in this factor right here, I would just like to understand if the shoe was on the other foot, and white people was like, we're coming for reparations. They asking black folks for reparations, and we looking at them like, reparations for fucking what? What you want us to pay for? You know, black people ain't gonna want to hear that. What a like white folks finally figure out that, oh, we were slaves in the 1200s. They want to go way back to the 1200s and find out that they were slaves by black people. Now they want reparations. Black people gonna look at them crazy. Boy, you don't get out my face talking about you want reparations from 1200 BC or AD. My bad. Like, no. You ain't gave us reparations for 400 years ago. And see, then you got that back. And I'm back to the part where I want to grow the dollar. I want us here in America to grow. I understand people make bad choices. We're going to have homeless. Out here in Nevada, there's a project going down. I even showed Miss April. There's a project out here where they're trying to house 900 homeless people, right? They got 26 acres already built, already picked out. They already broke ground, right? Now that the community is realizing that it's really happening, that they really finna build this, now they're protesting and trying to get that not to stop. But these are the same people that was like, we need to get the homeless up off the street. It's ridiculous. It's too much. But what dude said? Good idea, wrong neighborhood. Wow. Shit, it matter what neighborhood you try to help to get the homeless out? And I thought we just trying to get the homeless. I thought we just trying to help. And that's another thing that you got back and forth when it comes to the government. That's a big thing that happens in California too when it comes to the housing program. They voted a lot of people in California because they were supposed to do full family flat housing when you got this new administration in. So when the new administration actually got elected and got put in, the people in the suburbs where they're going to put these full family houses and families like that said they didn't want those big families in that area. So therefore they told them, we don't want that. And then they made it into single homes, maybe 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom homes like that. And this is what happened in California. And that's what helped increase the homeless out there, because yet again, most people out there are big families. So you need 4 or 5 bedrooms, and they ain't got that much land out there to be spread. So you're going to put some of them big families in probably neighborhood that they don't want. And that's not fair and stuff like that.
All across the country.
So
all across the country, it's a reality.
So when we're asking for it, it's invalid. But when he's asking for it, we
take 19 of the top murder cities in the country are blue districts with exponentially larger black populations than the rest of the country.
What's up, y'all?
Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Detroit, where I'm from, Los Angeles. No, 12 times the rate. I don't know if the rate.
Ooh, hold on, wait a minute. Did he just say my home? Did he say my hometown, St. Louis? Let me go back through that again. Let me see if I can catch that one more time.
He's asking for it.
19 of the top murder cities in the country are blue districts with exponentially larger black populations than the rest of the country.
What's up, y'all?
Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Detroit, where I'm from.
Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Detroit, Los Angeles. These places are ran by black folks. Love it. Love it to death.
Los Angeles. No, 12 times the rate. I don't know if they're random, but yeah,
but
more random attacks.
In those cities, blacks are killing black people.
You can say it's not.
Black people are killing black people at way higher rates in those cities.
Sure they are, but they're killing white people at 12 times the rate that white people are killing black people. That's a fact.
I think if that were true, Steve, we'd have a national outcry and the government will bring all this force.
You're about to get one. That's what I'm here to warn you about. You're about to get one.
Steve, that's what
You're
I'm
about to
saying.
get one, and I don't think you guys see it coming.
No,
it's coming.
I see it, but what I'm telling you is you're not gonna see the exact. You're trying to equate the black crime to the white. It's not the same crime because conditionally,
you're right. It's far more violent.
Culturally,
it's far more violent.
Totally
You're right.
different. Culturally, we've had to
far more violent.
Generation.
People don't like that guy is in office, and they say he's bringing the funk, he's bringing the thunder, he's bringing something that American people are afraid of or not prepared for. You hear the warnings every day. You see the signs all the time for people who claim to see the signs. You know that things aren't going in a way that you feel are a successful way of looking. People are looking over their shoulders, looking in their pockets, looking in the refrigerators, and stuff like that. So we do need a lot of things changed, but I'm under the influence. Things are not going to change unless we get up and do it. It really is going to take us, for real, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to end it on that note right there. That was a good one for me. I'm not going to hold nobody too much longer. It's evening time. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon when you watch this. Hey, if you ever wake up early in the morning from 6 to 9 Eastern, 3 to 6 Pacific, go on TikTok, come check us out. The Brooklyn's Vibe community. Come check us out. We go down early in the morning. Come make some money, come put some money in your pocket. It's really going down. I really appreciate everybody coming through. We got to learn about profits. We got to see how society is looking at today's current events. Tomorrow, I think I'll probably try to go into more of the government opening back up. Olympic is under investigations because they're actually taking transgender people and banning them from the Olympics. I'm gonna do a little bit more research. Probably gonna talk about that tomorrow. And anybody got anything to say before we go?
No. Nope.
Nope. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do appreciate it. Until next time, we out.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Have a good night, y'all.
Good night. Good night, April.
Good night, y'all.